Hello everyone, good afternoon. Is someone supposed to sit here with me today? Could be you, certainly, if you want. Please join me here. Oh, it's just me for joining me this afternoon, and I'd like to thank the whole Miss World Philippines family and the ALB Talents family for organizing this comeback press conference. And of course, my glam team is here. Thank you so much, guys, for making me look beautiful today. Thank you, everyone. How's everyone doing? So I guess we'll start with our question and answer portion, our catching up portion. Hello everyone. It's so good to see all of you. Again, thank you for sharing your time with me this afternoon, and I'm open to answering your questions or to catch up with all of you in the events that we've had in Puerto Rico. I just got here last, I think, January 9 and finished my 14-day quarantine. Right after I finished my quarantine, I was called to go to the office, and right there and then, Sir ALB thought of organizing this press conference so that we could catch up. So again, thank you so much for organizing this event for today. Miss World Philippines family.
Adam, you want to start? Off guard.
Mario.
Hi, Chris.
I-timeline lang natin yung ano nangyari sa'yo since December 16, from that time. I-timeline mo lang. I want to know what happened to you. How was your journey since the time the coronation was over?
A timeline of the things that happened right after December 16. So, just to backtrack, December 16, the day of the coronation in Puerto Rico, they called us up for a meeting in the morning, and they told us that unfortunately we won't be able to hold the pageant that night. So the first thing I did was, of course, contact my team here in the Philippines, inform Sir ALB, but at the time we were still not allowed to disclose anything until the Miss World organization actually posts the official statement. And then I called up my family because I've had relatives and friends who flew to Puerto Rico. Everything was already there. Even the Filipino community in Puerto Rico, they were all very welcoming and they were all very excited for the coronation night. So my immediate response to it was, of course, I was sad, I was disappointed, I was frustrated. I think it's a normal response, it's a normal feeling, and I embraced all of it and thought to myself that it is something that I couldn't really control, so might as well just think of something that I would be doing in the future. At the time, we weren't really given any advice as to what will happen or what might happen in the coming days or in the coming weeks. We weren't informed yet if the coronation night will push through in the coming weeks or if it's going to be in the next year. We didn't really know anything, but I thought to myself, it's just like Miss World Philippines all over again. If you guys can remember, it was also canceled 2 days before our coronation night, our local pageant here. And so, it's like the same feeling, the same experience. And if I got through it the first time, I would definitely get through it this time around. So, right there, I talked to my family, I talked to my friends, and continue on with the plans, the initial plans that I've had. So prior to me competing for Puerto Rico, I've already arranged that I would be spending the holidays in the U.S. It's my first time in the U.S., by the way, in San Diego, in Oceanside, California, with my tita, my mom's sister. So I'm very close with my titas and titos because ever since my mom passed away 10 years ago, they've been the ones taking care of me, and they sent me to school. And I remember back then I would always tell my tita, one day I will visit you in the US. You don't have to come back here. You don't have to come here in the Philippines. because I would be personally visiting you. And now I'm very happy that I was able to fulfill that promise that I've told her. So it's quite a family gathering.
So next day ko doon, Christmas, New Year, until January 9.
Until January 9, correct. Because back then, I thought if I would be coming back right away, straight from Puerto Rico, I would have to spend the Christmas in quarantine. So, naisip ko, might as well just spend it in the US. So, ayun, I spent it with my family. I met some of my cousins that I haven't met yet in my whole life, my in-laws, and basically I spent my whole holidays there. And I took the time to really step back, to recharge. It was quite a journey. It was both very fulfilling, but taxing at the same time. So I'm that type of person that really gets myself into the job that's given to me. I give it my 100%, but at the same time, I also value my family time. I also value my me time. And I felt like I needed that rest. I needed that time to really enjoy what the States and what the US has in store for me, with my family, of course.
Okay. Tracy, now that you're about to leave, in a couple of weeks, you'll be leaving. Will you still spend some time preparing? May mga reviews ka ba na gagawin?
Definitely, the training, for me, training should never stop. It's something that I really like doing because, of course, I'm just a normal person. You get rusty, sometimes you forget the things that you were used to doing in the past. I myself, I haven't really had press conferences or interviews for a while, so I still have the nerves. I'm quite nervous at this point, but I'm also enjoying. So it's good to have this feeling back, to get used to being in a crowd once again. I've been stuck in quarantine for 14 days. It's quite hard. It's my first time being in quarantine for that long, but I guess it's an experience that I have to go through.
Before we continue, we'll just rearrange a bit.
To express the things that I really want to say, to send a message across the world. And so, I'll start today. It's a good practice.
Trace, a lot of us know that you came this close to clinching the crown. You were at your peak, diba, when the announcement was made. So, how do you feel about this? Do you feel that you can easily get back on track and get that same momentum that you built last time?
That's a really good question, Sir Tini, because that was the very first thing I thought to myself when they announced that, oh, the coronation is postponed. How will I get the momentum back? We stayed in Puerto Rico for about 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks was slow for me. I wasn't able to get into the finalists for Sports Challenge, for the Talent Challenge. But later on, as the challenges went by, they were already starting to notice me and to recognize the things that I can offer. And personally, I'm very proud of where I come from, the stories that I have to tell, my experiences. And that's what I brought to Puerto Rico, my heart, my soul, my experiences. And to answer your question, if I think that I can get that momentum back, I definitely think so. Because I think Miss World is an organization where they really value your character, your values, your principles, the things that you can change, help change for the better, for the world. And I'm very happy to say that I was able to bring my platform to a global scale. They were able to listen to me, to the things that I'm passionate about, to the things that I'm fighting for, specifically for the single mothers. And that alone for me is already a huge achievement. And that already for me is a very fulfilling one. And that is something I really want to do even after Miss World. So I think that for them, they will remember that. They will remember the true stories, the true experiences. And that is something that I've already done for my country and for the single mothers just like my mom.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir King.
Fight. Trace, request ni Mario. Konting walk. Walk
The
to...
signature mo.
This is your camera.
On cue.
Okay. One more.
Philippines.
One more, ma'am.
One more, Trace.
Wala bang music dyan? Thank you, guys. One more?
Thank you.
Any more questions? Alexa.
Hi, Trace. Oh, yeah. Biglang yung... Okay, Trace, we are already, while you were at it, you've already spoken about your cause, which of course is the single moms. Of course, we're all very happy that it was chosen as one of the Beauty with a Purpose projects. Can you just tell us more about your reaction to that, and if there is a timeline already from the org that they've announced, that when will they possibly come, of course, considering there's still a couple of restrictions here right now in the Philippines.
So, as for the timeline, I'd like to answer that first. They still haven't really, I think that's still in the works. For sure, they will still want to finish the coronation, the finals first, and then I'm sure they will want to meet up with every single project that have made it to the final. I think we were 8 projects, or no, it was 6 projects that were chosen. One was mine, and yes, they will be funding my project here in the Philippines. They will be personally coming here to the Philippines to oversee the project. And of course, I'm very happy. Again, this is not my win, it's their win. And I'm glad that I was able to bring them to the Miss World so that they can see them and they can help them because they need help.
2 other questions. The second question is, we would also like to ask, how are you now? Because obviously we want to check on the status of our candidates' mental health. I mean, it's not a secret recently that the pageant community was rocked with the sudden passing of Chelsea. How are you considering, it's not a new topic, it's everybody's going through it. I think all candidates, your sisters in the Miss World Philippines are also getting ready as well for their competitions.
That is a very timely question, and I myself have been really thinking about what happened. And my initial reaction when I heard the news is that it's very important that we really start prioritizing ourselves and our emotional health and mental health. Because being in this industry, being in the limelight, even if people think that it's easy to be here, you just have to look pretty, you just have to practice being able to talk in front of the public, but it's very difficult. I mean, being in here, trying to represent something bigger than ourselves, sometimes we tend to forget to take care of ourselves. And that is why it's very important. What I did for myself is to step back. I know for myself when I need to take a rest. I recognize that, I honor that, I listen to my body, I listen to my mind. And that is something that I'd like to remind everyone to do, not just for us girls in the pageant industry. Everyone goes through something, no matter what industry you're from. So it's very important that you take rest, you listen to the people around you, you take care of yourself, but at the same time, have enough time to give to your family, to your friends, to listen to them. Because again, depression has no face. You can't really tell if someone is already going through something, if someone is considering doing something. And so, it doesn't really hurt if you give time to just be kind, just be a little bit kinder every single day. to reach out to someone, to a friend, to a family member, to a cousin that you've never seen for years. It's good to send a message, but it's even better if you can actually check up on them, call them, video call. We have so much technology right now, and it's good that we make use of that so that everyone can feel a little bit happier, a little less lonely in life.
And the last question from me is, what is the one thing that you're looking forward to once you get back to Puerto Rico, aside from reuniting with your other sisters?
I'm very excited to fulfill what I've already planned on doing. If you guys have been in the press conference, in my send-off last time, I promised that I would bring back the faith and the hope of the Filipinos for the Miss World organization and the cause that the Miss World fights for. And going back to Puerto Rico, that's what I'm very excited to do. I want to continue that, not only pushing for the causes that I fight for, but at the same time, make my country proud. Make our country and all the Filipinos proud. Because I think this time, this year is our time.
All right, thank you.
So that's it. Bobby, from Manila.
Any special ritual to get that momentum back? And the second question, I'm sure you've seen the other candidates, the other semi-finalists. So how would you describe them? Kayang-kaya bang talunin sila?
Okay, well, let's start with the first question. My ritual to gaining that momentum back. First of all, mindset. I've been in a state of rest for quite some time. So it's good that I'm doing this. I've started going out again. I've started seeing a lot of people again, and I've started doing interviews and press conferences again. So this is a great start. So once I get there, I'm that kind of person that could have a slow start, but when I get there, I actually make it there. So I like to apply that same strategy with me coming back to Puerto Rico. It's just consistency, knowing my strengths and bringing it out there. Because again, being in Miss World, I've always told myself that I don't have to change for anything. I have to be that same exact girl from when I was a kid, bringing with me all the lessons that my family taught me, my mom taught me. And that's what I'm doing in there. I'm pouring my heart out and my experiences. I'm sharing it with them. And I think it shows every time they see me. They always tell me that I'm quite different from every single queen that they've met as a Miss Philippines. And I like to take that as a good sign because I think I'm being unique in a way that they're recognizing that I'm different in a good way. So I'm going to be doing the same things that I'm doing. And that has worked for me before. And with consistency, with putting everything out there, I know that I can make it back. I can gain that momentum back. And for your second question, all the candidates, I was really hoping to meet every single candidate that I met in there. We were 99 candidates, but unfortunately, only 40 of us are coming back. A lot of them are my close friends. A lot of them are my close friends, the ones who made it to the top 40. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing them and get to bond with them again. But to answer your question, kayang-kaya bang talunin? I'd like to think that my strengths are enough for the Miss World organization to pick up. I really don't want to compare myself with everyone. Every one of us is unique in our own way, beautiful in our own way. We're all smart. We've proven ourselves time and time again. But I want to focus on myself, my strengths, and the things that I can offer, the things that I can bring to the table. And I think that is enough for them to choose me as Miss World. Hope.
Hi, Trey. Have you been close to Olivia Yase of Cote d'Ivoire? Of Ivory Coast? I see her as your closest rival. How do you assess her as a pageant contestant?
Olivia, Miss Cote d'Ivoire, is actually a good friend of mine. She's one of my closest friends. Her and Miss
Khadija from Somalia. So, as a friend, she's a great one. We're helping each other out. And as a competitor, as my co-candidate, I think she also has a great chance.
Thank you.
So to reiterate, Miss Cote d'Ivoire is a good friend of mine. I only learned how to actually pronounce Cote d'Ivoire when I met her. So that's one of my learnings, guys. It's Cote d'Ivoire, Miss Ivory Coast. So she's one of my closest friends. She's the first few friends. I think she was the second friend that I've ever made in the competition. And as a competitor, as a co-candidate, I think she also has good chances. Why? Because I've seen her heart. I've seen how she is with her co-candidates, and she's pure. And she's not scared to let us in. She's not scared to let people know her intentions and the things that she fights for. She's also one of the best speakers there, to be honest. And so I really think that she has a good chance. As much as I'd like to say that everyone has a fair chance of winning, I think she's one of my favorites myself.
Has Miss Julia Morley hinted on the type of girl they're looking for this year? Has she given you girls a hint on the kind of mold they're looking for at a specific winner for this year?
To ask for a specific mold that we Queen's candidates should be following, I don't think the Miss World organization or Miss Julia Morley has really been upfront about it. In fact, we don't really see Miss Julia Morley very often in the competition. She just watches the rehearsals from time to time, and she's just there during the very important events like the Beauty with a Purpose presentation and the Top Model Challenge. But aside from that, we rarely see her. Again, she hasn't really spoken much about what kind of queen they're actually looking for specifically, but I think that being in Miss World, actually experiencing to be in Miss World and getting to work with the Miss World staff, I think that they are really looking for someone easy to work with, someone that has good character, someone that they can trust, someone that can represent the organization well, and someone who has the heart to really help the people around her and to actually make a difference. And I know that it could be any one of us. It could be Miss Philippines, Miss Cote d'Ivoire even. But again, it's all about the best timing. I always believe in timings. I believe in fate. I also believe in hard work, consistency, and perseverance. And if I put all of those together, I think that's a perfect formula for Miss World. And I'd like to think that I have those qualities.
Hi, Tracy. Finally, nice to meet you.
Nice to see you again.
So, Tracy, there's no doubt for me the most defining moment that you've had during the pageant was your stellar performance during the first 2 rounds of the head-to-head challenge. Not only were you so good with your communication skills, but you are such a gifted storyteller as you talk about your advocacy and your mom in the process. So I wonder, did you expect to resonate so well to the audience?
Did I expect it? To be honest, I don't know. Because I myself, I still doubt my communication skills. Well, the nerves still get to me sometimes. I will always have the nerves. Even if I go through so many interviews in my lifetime, the nerves will always be there. But at the moment, I just really try not to think about it too much. I try to think that I'm not in the competition, because in that way, I can actually be myself and not think about, oh, what should I say? What should I say that would make me stand out? What should I say that would make me different from the others? I just speak my heart out. I just speak my truth. And I think that is why I come across as relatable, and I speak through my experiences, and through that, people could actually see that, oh, I'm just like her. She's not just Miss Philippines, she's just a normal person like us. And that's good enough for me.
That's great. For my follow-up question, do you have any updates regarding your advocacy? Because you talk about it so passionately during your BWAP and head-to-head challenge turns. So, since coming back, will you be doing more charity work or to spread more awareness about the plight of the single moms in your advocacy programs?
So I just got here, and I will have to fly back to Puerto Rico probably first week of March. But I really want to go back to Cebu from that time frame that I have in a month. As you all know, Cebu has been greatly hit by the Typhoon Odette, and the island that I visited and the houses of the single mothers and everyone in Cebu has been greatly affected. And I'd like to personally visit them and check up on them, how they are, ask them how they are, and ask them what I could do to help. I've started this campaign for helping out the victims and the survivors of the Typhoon Odette, and it is still ongoing. I'm very happy that right now I'm already personally here to oversee the project, and hopefully, again, if the schedule allows, I would like to personally visit there and visit Cordova. But if not, I will have my team from Cebu do it for me. I will still have a meeting with the organization, but for now, I'm still in contact and in communication with the leaders of the Solo Parents Federation in Cordova. There are about 10 of them, the leaders, who oversee the 2,000 single mothers in their area. And I'm going to be in the works with Mr. Mike Cubos too. He is the one overseeing the whole project in there. But to answer your question, Adam, I'd really want to be personally there, because I've seen it with my own eyes. It really means so much for them when you actually sit down with them and listen to what they have to say, instead of just sending them messages and sending them donations. I mean, that's a good thing. It's good that we are here to help them. But it's so much different when you actually give your time and sit down with them and actually let them know that you are there to help them survive their plight.
Thank you. Thank you,
Tracy.
Trace, during our earlier interview, you told me about those random acts of kindness, diba? So actually, si Adam din yun eh. He's curious to know some of those. So can you tell us more, specifically the incident with the pizza? The pizza.
So I had an interview with Mr. Lini prior to this press conference. I had a sit-down interview with him for about an hour or so. And I just purely talked about my experiences there. And one of the highlights of that interview was when I spoke about the most memorable moments that I've had with my co-candidates. And again, for me, I'm the type of person that really remembers the smallest of things and the things that really touches my heart. And again, it's all those little things, like when you meet with someone for the first time and they tell you, "Oh, hi, Miss Philippines, you're very beautiful." That's just a little thing, but for me, that already means a lot. I mean, I'm someone who, as much as possible, practices kindness, and we don't really see that much in the world today. So hearing those things, positive affirmations from people you just met, that's already something to me. But one very specific instance that I remember is the pizza thing. So in Puerto Rico, when we do our rehearsals, sometimes we go out of the hotel, especially when the ballroom is occupied. So at that time, we didn't really have much to eat. We only have a few boxes of pizza for every single one of us. So what they did was they shared one slice of pizza for every candidate, and if there's still some more left, we can get seconds. But fortunately, I couldn't get a second for myself. and I was so hungry. We just had a pizza for the whole day. Or was it the whole morning and lunch? So I was starving. I like my pizza. I like my carbs. And in Puerto Rico, by the way, they don't really serve rice. And I'm such a rice person, so I'm always hungry in Puerto Rico. So when I was about to come up to them and ask for a second slice, they told me, "Oh, I'm so sorry, it's all gone." So I guess I had this look in my face, and I was apparently really sad. So as I was going back to my seat, one of the candidates, she's not from my group, I've never spoken to her because she's not from my group, and she came up to me and said, "Hello, Miss Philippines, I got the last slice, would you want to share?" So I was really touched because I'm such a foodie. I'm not sure if you guys are the same, but I usually don't like sharing my food because I like to eat all my food. But when I'm with my friends and I tell them, "Oh, I love you so much because I share my food with you." I usually don't like sharing my food. So if someone tries to ask me and shares their food with me, I think it's a love language for me. So for you to actually share that little piece of pizza, the only one that's left, and I know you are also hungry yourself, and you actually want to share that with me, it's touching to me. I mean, that's such a small thing, but for me, it means the world.
What about the one with Miss Mexico?
Certainly, oh my gosh, yes. So with Miss Mexico, if you guys can remember, she was my partner for the head-to-head challenge. Prior to that, it was before we had our head-to-head challenge round 2, we had our top model challenge. And if you guys can remember, I wasn't chosen in the top 13 for the top model challenge. And to be very honest, it was a bit sad. I was also seeing comments. I know it's not really advisable to read as much comments, but I try to touch up with everyone from time to time. I try to read comments and see where the fans are, and possibly find out things that I can improve myself. So when I didn't make it to the top 13, a lot of the candidates actually came up to me and said, "Miss Philippines, you were really glowing that night. Your dress was absolutely beautiful." By the way, they always ask me who my designers are, who my stylists are, because they love everything that I brought to Puerto Rico. And I always tell them, we have the best designers, we have the best people. You have to come here and check them yourselves. So I think they will be coming anytime soon. And so, Miss Mexico, she was one of the girls who told me, "Miss Philippines, I really thought you're beautiful." It's the honest truth, guys. She told me this. "I really thought you deserved to be in there with me." She was one of the top 13, by the way, for the top model challenge. She told me, "I think you deserve to have this spot too." And I said, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Mexico." When you're feeling down, hearing those words of affirmation already means so much. So the time came for the head-to-head challenge. I didn't realize that I will be partnered with her for the head-to-head. I will be actually head-to-head with her. So right before coming to our second round, where we spoke about Puerto Rico, she came up to me again and she told me, "Miss Philippines, I'd like to tell you that, again, in the top model challenge, I thought you deserve that spot. And at the same time, I think that we all have our time to shine. And I think it's your time." She told me that.
Very prophetic.
And so I still have goosebumps until now when I remember those things. And after the announcement of the winners for the head-to-head, I really looked for her and hugged her because what she said to me meant so much to me. I mean, we were competing for the spot, but she was still kind enough to tell me that she believed in me and that it was my time to shine. And right then, I also told her, "Miss Mexico, you know what? I think you're really right. We all have our time to shine, and yours is coming next." Because I really had a feeling that she would win the sports challenge. And she did. I think a few days after, she was announced as
the winner for the sports challenge. And we talked again right after and said to each other, yes, we were both right. And again, we always have our own plan.
Ang bait naman. Bait nung Latinang bait. Mexico lang ba yun? Mexico. Both yung pizza at saka yung... Both yung... Sino si pizza?
Mike. Best.
Hello? I would like to say 98%. The 2%, okay, I'll be modest, so I'll make it 85. Because back then I was 98. Because there is always room for improvement. But since I've had about a month of rest and I still need to get that engine going, I'll rate myself 80 for now. But then in the coming days, it will go higher and higher until we reach the 100.
If we don't have any more questions and to give more time for your own one-on-one interviews, let's cut this short now, so you can interview her to your heart's delight. So, thank you guys for coming. And,
thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the food. Thank you to Pandan Asian Cafe for hosting our press conference for today. Thank you, Miss World Philippines, for organizing this event. And to my glam team, of course. Jadet.
Shout out to your
Shout
team.
out, Miss Jadet. Jello. And to my stylist, B. And Francis.
Thank you,
And of course,
Tracy.
my RM, Aldrich.
Thanks, Tracy, and good luck.
Thank you, Sir King.
Bring home the crown.
We will.
Buena suerte.
Buena suerte.